Hey there, and welcome to September 2019. My name is Kayleigh Jean, and I'm here to do your creativity readings for the month. I just have a couple of quick announcements. First of all, if you are looking to go deeper with your astrological knowledge and you want to explore the potential of working with astrological magic in your personal spiritual practice, I will put the information to Natural Magic School. That's the topic of the month. We're going a lot deeper with it. We're also going to be doing some live streams and just exploring natural magic from an astrological perspective, as well as going into the philosophy of circle casting and working with the four direction. If you're not familiar with Natural Magic School, it is really just a very inexpensive way to support my channel. If you get something useful out of these videos and you want to say thank you, you get access to a ton of extra content every month. So all that information, again, will be below the video. Secondly, I wanted to let you know about the tanks that I'm wearing this month. I'm super excited to be partnered with Hannah Stone, who reached out to me. I was so excited to partner with her for this month's videos. She creates this whole line of astrological, constellation-based and crystal-based designs with her clothes, and her fabric that she uses is so freaking comfortable. Everything that she has, I think, is somewhat reversible, so you can wear it in different ways to create different necklines and just fun stuff. So I wanted to give her a little shout out and let you know that she's offering free shipping for anybody who watches this and wants to purchase something from her shop, which is super generous. So I will put all of her information below. I just really related to her mission. She's working to empower women. She employs adults who earn fair wages in Canada. I absolutely love her mission. I feel like she is just a really awesome creative person, and I'm really excited to be wearing her stuff this month. So if you're interested in that, I will put the information and the free shipping link to her shop below. Okay guys, let's get into your readings without any further ado. Okay, Gemini, let's get into your reading for September. As I was tuning into your energy, I actually had the god Pan coming through quite significantly during the session, and what I felt from this was almost like the message of Pan was that there may be an area of your life where you're dealing with a lot of self-blame or shame about something that is actually just natural to who you are, and that isn't something at all to be ashamed of. And that the more that you embrace that sort of part of yourself that you feel is not worthy of being highly valued or brought out into your life in a big way, it's like that part of you actually holds the gold. That part of you that you are criticizing, that part of you that you are holding back and not being, willing to share, that's the side of you that I feel like people will respond to, actually, or that will enable you to feel more free. Like, because just as I said that, I was seeing a horse running, like, in full gallop. So I feel like there's this inherent earthy vitality that's coming through, essentially, that wants to be liberated. And maybe for some of you this is related to your physical body. Maybe you're just being really hard on yourself about your physical body for some reason, or you really want something to be healed, or you want to be on the other side of some kind of transformation or healing process in terms of your physical body. If that's the case, Gemini, the message is you're blessed just how you are right now, and just the fact that you have a physical body and you have ears to hear what I'm saying, and you're right now breathing, you're physically wherever you are as you're listening to this, that is a freaking gift. Your body is your temple, and it's your vehicle for going through life and having all of the spiritual, psychosomatic, emotional, mental learning experiences that you're having in this lifetime. So just be grateful to your body, and kind of connecting more with your body intuitively as well is a big thing. So you may be looking at a different diet, or you may be looking to express your body in more spontaneous ways, like take a very strange dance class, like that gets you moving in ways that you're not familiar with, or just helps you loosen up. I feel like that's going to be really helpful. But if this is like a metaphorical, analogy about the physical body, it could be also that there's something natural and inbuilt within you and your personality, your talents, your creative interests and aspirations that you're holding back and you're not sharing with the world. And the message, if that's the case for you, Gemini, is what are you waiting for? That part of you that you resist the most actually has the key to everything. And that's a really profound message, but I feel like it's really true for Geminis right now, that the thing that you keep thinking is worth nothing is actually the most valuable aspect of yourself. It's the most valuable skill or interest that you have. So just sit with that. If it doesn't make sense to you right away, sit with that, because it could make more sense later on. I do feel that it will. It's just a matter of really uncovering the pearls within that you have, that you're holding, that you're not kind of bringing out. I feel like those are becoming more and more luminescent. They're becoming more and more important. And at some point in the near future, it is going to be time to bring them out in a bigger way. So I'm excited to see what comes up in your cards, and we'll get some more specific guidance for you on this. Okay, Gemini. Gemini. Let's take this top one. Okay, let's take a look at your animal spirit guides. Oh, we have starfish and lizard. Interesting. Okay, so first of all, Gemini, both of these creatures are striking me as very delicate and sensitive to their environment. The starfish is a creature that easily can be overwhelmed by pollutants in the water that it lives in. And the lizard also is a very delicate, cold-blooded creature that needs to engage in very specific behaviors in order to keep its body temperature in a range that's healthy for it. So there's something here about how you relate to your environment that's coming up with both of these cards, because both of these cards indicate creatures that they relate to their environment in a very specific kind of way. And they are more susceptible than other creatures to like slight changes in the atmospheric circumstances that surround them. So what I'm getting from this, first of all, with the starfish as your path, because this is a delicate creature, it's also a creature that has a great deal of beauty, but it's kind of a strange beauty. We are seeing this theme coming through again of really kind of being willing to be yourself. I love the pentacle kind of image of the starfish. The 5 points really is reminiscent of the pentacle, which is also reminiscent of the 5 points of the body. We have our head, 2 feet, and or 2 legs and 2 hands or arms. So there's something here about really being expressive of your true nature and being willing to kind of be seen. And starfish personalities are like very charismatic, very kind of electrifying when you interact with someone who has a certain an intellect, for example, or a sense of humor, or something just alluring about them, like physically, and they have the ability to kind of keep up an interesting conversation. I mean, for me, that's like every Gemini I know is like that. There's something just like alluring about them, like their face is like really pretty, or there's just like something about how they express themselves that just you just want to like look at them, you know. But then they also just are able to hold such fluid and exciting conversations that you're just drawn in. And so I feel like with this starfish coming up, it actually does really remind me of you guys. And it feels like your path this month is to really open up to that side of you that's willing to hold space in that way, but in a way that you're allowing those parts of yourself that you tend to hide, or that you've been holding back, or that you haven't like put out yet. It's like bringing those forth, even if you might seem like a greenhorn, right? Or even if you are just starting out, even if you are new to a particular industry, even if you just feel a little bit insecure in some way. It's like just trusting yourself, the starfish, trusting yourself to kind of be out in the open. And it's tough because you're sensitive. I mean, clearly, you know, you are with the starfish energy. So I would say that probably this reading is more relevant for like the extroverted. Gemini tends to be like a little bit more of an extroverted archetype, speaking in general terms. But this is also showing me that you definitely have a very introverted side, or you have a very empathic and sensitive and kind of introspective side of you. And that's the side that wants to come out. So the lizard is the obstacle, or kind of like the influence for you this month in September. And I feel like the lizard is here, the way that this is showing up to me is that it feels like your senses are literally more sensitive right now. So it may not be surprising to hear that if you are a Gemini and you've had kind of like your sensitivity in general to like emotional things. You might be feeling like emotions are running a little high, or if someone says something, you might have a tendency to kind of read it a little bit more negatively than normal. If that's the case, just be aware of it, because once you're aware that you are kind of reacting a little bit more sensitively to your environment, then you can modulate and you can make the adjustments in terms of your actions, and you don't have to cause any extra turmoil for yourself by kind of instigating conflicts where there doesn't need to be any. So that could be an aspect for some of you. Others of you, I feel like you're literally just becoming a lot more sensitive to maybe even your intuition, sensitive to subtle energies. Maybe even if you're interacting with somebody that has a little bit more of a hectic or a panicky vibe, you might be feeling that more. And so you could have some high-strung friends, for example, that normally you're just fine with being around, and then now in September, for whatever reason this month, you're kind of just like, okay, I need to like go home and work on my business or work on my art right now, or just listen to some music because I'm feeling your energy and it's a little harsh. But they may not have any negative intentions. It's just you're picking up more, and it's kind of coming in more. So you want to just do whatever you have to do in terms of your schedule and your energetic boundaries to make sure that you're kind of creating that space and that shield for yourself, so that you're not kind of sucking in all kinds of energy from every direction. So basically just mind the energy that's around you. Recognize that sometimes there is real energy that affects you from other people, and at the same time do some work on maybe like, you know, your the sides of yourself that you've been kind of inhibiting. Allow that to move forward a little bit, if anything, at least just in your own creative time. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look at your cards. So we've got the Hermit, the Four of Wands, the King of Swords, the King of Cups, the Eight of Wands, the Tower, Five of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles. Okay, so I'm kind of seeing this energy's like all over the place. There are some things that look to me timeline related, and I'll share about that, but I also see a lot going on here that is kind of an overall theme for the month. For some of you, there is an emphasis on changes in the home or changes in the feel of how you kind of get things done in your life. When we have the Hermit with the Four of Wands, the Four of Wands is typically a card that relates to home life and domesticity and things of that nature. And so when we have the Hermit showing up there, it can denote feeling like you want to just be a hermit at home and you want to maybe take some days off and just work on your home-based business, or you want to move out to the country and move away from the city and get some space to yourself. Maybe you want to travel abroad, and so you're kind of leaving the home, hence the Hermit is kind of turning away from the home. Whatever it is, I feel that these energies definitely show that as you go into September, there's an emphasis on like your own space. Like, what does that really mean for you, Gemini? Does that mean your literal physical space, even if you're at work or driving or wherever, just holding your own physical space more consciously and being more aware of your body? It could also mean being, just like I said, more of a homebody and wanting to spend more time at home or working on a home-based business, that kind of thing. Even like designing teaching courses from home or teaching courses out of your home. It could also be here because the Hermit is a teacher and the Four of Wands is a card of domesticity. For some of you also, the Four of Wands can represent a graduation, like the completion of a study program, because the Hermit is a scholar. And then Four of Wands can sometimes represent like a celebration of some kind of the end of a process of growth. For example, a graduation ceremony or a coming of age or finishing your vocational training. That kind of thing can also be strongly indicated here for many of you. So that looks really exciting. It does feel like really good energies. You're kind of markedly done with the past, Gemini. I feel like when I'm looking at this, the Hermit is card 9, so already we're getting that sense of, you know, about to go into 10, which is the double-digit numbers begin at 10, so there's a sense of like being, you know, at the completion point. And you also have the Eight of Wands aiming right at the Tower directly underneath this. So it's almost like as you have this perhaps somewhat peaceful ending experience, like a completion of a chapter in your life, could even be the end of a relationship for some of you if that relationship ends extremely amicably. Because I don't see anything here that's like dramatic or upset. It's more like, yeah, we're just, you know, we're taking a break, or we know that we need to move on. That could be part of this, but whatever it is, there's some kind of like peaceful or satisfying ending process that you're finding yourself in the midst of as we go into September. You may not be fully aware of what that is yet, and that could be because events are going to transpire over the next couple of months that may be surprising to you, but that will usher in the next phase. And when you look back at this little section of 2019, you're going to be like, wow, I really was finishing a chapter. And it's just a 4, it's not the 10, so it's not like you're culminating this massive thing. It's more like you are experiencing a meaningful milestone that brings you that much closer to you know, the next big thing that you're going to be doing. So I really like to see that. It looks very peaceful to me, and it looks like it's kind of meant to be. There's like a flavor of this is meant to be here. But with the King of Swords and the King of Cups, there's some kind of like possible meddling that I'm seeing going on in your life, Gemini. I don't know who these dudes are, but there could be two guys. It could just be one. It might not even be two guys. It could be two women, because remember, these are just general readings. So it's possible that anything's possible as far as how fluid these symbols need to be if they're going to be relevant for many, many people's lives. But I am seeing two potential meddlers here. It could be that there's a battle of wills between you and someone else, or there's two people in your life who may be in managerial type positions because they're kings. So the equivalent, modern day equivalent of a king is probably a manager or a CEO or something like that, somebody with some authority. And they're kind of bringing in some change that may surprise you at first, because we have this Eight of Wands. So we have this influence of these two kings, right? The King of Cups, so a water sign, and then the King of Swords, air sign, which could be you or it could be someone else. But there's some kind of meddling or some kind of change or decision that's being come to you, not just with one person, but between two people, that brings in this like dramatic shift with the Eight of Wands aiming right at the Tower. So we have this sense of something sets off a chain of events in your life, Gemini. And for some of you, this is going to be like big, big, big stuff. And some of you, remember, it's a general reading. It could be something a little bit smaller that maybe doesn't affect you directly, but you're just witnessing it. Either way, I really do feel that this is in your best interest, even if at the beginning of this process, you start to feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want this. This isn't something I was expecting. I'm kind of like, I'm over this. I feel like I'm losing something. I feel like this change is happening, but I'm not happy about it. That's kind of the energy of the Five of Cups. Now, I want to be totally respectful of that, and I want to really acknowledge your emotions if you are one of the Geminis that is experiencing this sort of climatic disruption in your life, whether it's because two people are making decisions about your career that affect you, or about something else in your life that affects you, maybe a landlord or a colleague or something else. It's like you're at the start of it, you want to resist it. Even though you're a mutable sign and you're really good at facing like big changes and kind of transforming and adapting based on how you need to, I feel like there's a moment of like, oh my God, I don't know if I want this. But the long-term vision here is the Nine of Pentacles. So let's say, for example, some of you could be like finishing a realm of study or a project that is like a side thing that you're doing from home. And you're like, oh, this is great. This is like a nice little side hobby that I just love, and, you know, I'm excited about it. And then there's some kind of, what's it called? Layoffs maybe in the company that you work for. And it hits you that you might potentially lose your job. And then if you do, you're like, oh my gosh, this is awful. But then what ends up happening is that this new training that you did, or this interest or hobby that you have, ends up being super lucrative for you in the long run, and you gain a lot more independence, you gain a lot more control, you gain a lot more self-confidence with the Hermit. These are both nines, so it's showing us in the beginning of the month and the end of the month, the nines, that is the portal. You go in on a 9 and you go out on a 9. So these are definitely connected. What you've been studying, what you've been learning, what you've been acquiring within yourself in terms of internal skills, knowledge, capabilities, interests, and curiosities that you've been nourishing, these are going to eventually, and it could be sooner than later, put you in a position where you can start like a different lifestyle, one that feels a little bit more consciously chosen for you with the Nine of Pentacles. Now, if you already own a business, it could be that you are just transforming that business from bottom to top, or it could mean that because a law changes, for example, if you have like an internet-based or marketing-based kind of business and a law changes and it means you have to do things differently now, you might at first resist that change, but then you realize that it puts you in a position to have an idea that takes your business in a whole different direction, but it ends up being way better than you planned for yourself. This is a textbook example of the universe having better plans for you than you had for yourself. So I just love to see this. I know that it might feel like a little bit of a roller coaster for some of you, so I totally want to acknowledge that and say, feel your feelings if you're feeling a little stressed, or if you're like, what the fuck is going on? It's okay. You're not alone. The other Geminis are feeling it too, and you are going to come out on top. It's just, you've got to trust your instincts with the Nine of Pentacles. You've got to trust that preternatural part of yourself with the falcon on her hand. It represents that animal consciousness, that animal awareness, that gut instinct. You're becoming more sensitive to that with the lizard. So I hope that's helpful. Let's go ahead and take a look at your Lenormand cards. I am doing something a little differently today when I'm reading your Lenormand cards instead of tarot clarity cards, for your extended reading, that is. So I will be doing this very intuitively. I do appreciate the system of Lenormand, but I'm not going to be drawing a traditional Lenormand spread or interpreting the cards from a traditional Lenormand perspective. But I felt called to use this deck. Okay, so let's take a look for Gemini. Extra messages and guidance for Geminis. Clear, loving, accurate guidance for Geminis. Okay. And I'm going to get you a Bob Ross message, Gemini, so let's see what Bob has got to say for Gemini. Since you're so creative this month. Gemini. Okay. So let's take a look at your Bob Ross message first. It says, trees cover up a multitude of sins. That's going to be a fun one to go into. And we have emerging. That is mysterious, and I love it. Now let's take a look at your Lenormand cards. We've got the key, the clover, the birds, the lady, the book, and the star. The dog, the sun, and the mountain, the sky, the tree, and the child. And we're going to go over here to your relationship spread. Your energy, we have the snake and the rider. The other person's energy, crossroads and the coffin. And we have the anchor between you. Really, really interesting spread. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting into these, but the tarot messages were your main messages. So thank you so much for being here, Gemini. I hope that you have an amazing month in September. I hope that it is just a fantastic month for you guys. Thank you so much for being here, for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing. All those things really help my channel, and they really help me to know that these readings are helpful to you, and it warms my heart every time I hear from you. So please let me know in the comments what you thought about this reading, and I'm sending you lots of love. If you'd like to join us for Natural Magic School and deepen your knowledge of astrology and astrological magic, I will put the information on that below the video. And yeah, in the extended reading, I'll also be looking at the Pisces full moon, which is on Friday the 13th, and I'll be looking at what this full moon really looks like for you and how you can work with this energy, Gemini. So I will put the information for your extended reading below. I'm sending you so much love, giving you a big hug. Don't worry about that tower because you've got the Nine of Pentacles and the Hermit kind of as the portals you enter and leave the month with. So a lot of personal strength, and I feel like this is going to be a really powerful month for you. Okay, Gemini, I'm sending you so much love, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!